we have the privilege of speaking with Jackie Hernandez, a founding member of Plug and Play Tech Center, the innovation ecosystem and one of the most active investors in Silicon Valley. Jackie is a seasoned leader with over 20 years of experience in corporate innovation, startup acceleration, and venture funding. She has played a key role in shaping Silicon Valley's entrepreneurial ecosystem. Her expertise in global partnership, strategic leadership, and digital transformation makes her a true innovator at the intersection of technology and business. Jackie, welcome to the podcast. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Jordi. The pleasure is mine, of course. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, would you tell us about your journey and how you helped shape Plug and Play Tech Center into a global leader in open innovation?
Thank you. It's a very long story, obviously. I have been with the group with many years, and I hate to admit that many uh, because I'm dating myself, but I have been working with an incredible person, Said Amiri. You know him very well, for over 30 years in helping him in other three initiatives prior to Plug and Play. He was doing a little bit of investment as a hobby and renting office space, like flexible. He called it flexible office space back in the days, before WeWork started, and because he was doing this same
Wow.
activity with some studios in Hollywood, that had changed the way that they are operating. Before they would do continuous production, and now they
Mhm.
do production by seasons. All the shows have season one, season two, whatever,
Right, right.
and the producers have to go and seek money from the studios, and to launch a pilot. And if the pilot picks up with the audience, then they get money for the second season, et cetera, et cetera. And
Right.
so Said saw that similarity, and I said, hey, that's how Silicon Valley works. The startups do the same. Why don't we do the same here? And so that was the idea, right? So in 2006, we started looking for a building, because it said we need to get more startups and we need to do something like this also, because the startups are startups. I mean, they don't have the resources like a big studio. If a big studio doesn't want to deal with a huge lease, I mean, the startups are not going to deal with that. And so one thing led to another. In 2006, we opened the doors to the first startup that we had. It was Canesta at the time, that later got acquired by Microsoft, if you remember.
I do.
And so the first year, I took the operation of this headquarters. We live here in this headquarters in Silicon Valley, in the heart of Silicon Valley. And in the first year, I think we received in the neighborhood of like 100 and something startup. By the third, fourth year, we were like already 400 startups. And I ran this operation for the first 12 years, seeing roughly like 1,000 startups in and out throughout every year.
Wow.
And so
Thousands of startups.
exactly, and it is crazy. Obviously, the part that we realized was that the fact that yes, startups need a flexible place to live, a good environment. They need capital, they need services, they need a number of things. And then we realized it goes beyond that, right? What they really need two very big things, which is paying clients and a sustainable business model, right? And
Absolutely.
so, and because we are seeing a lot of things happening, a lot of software development back in the days, Web 2.0, and all of those things. Then we started started getting the attention of the big corporation, and said corporations are falling behind, and because they are falling behind, and they don't know what's happening out there,
Right.
so they started to come to our events. We were doing events every week. We were getting angel investors every week, and to showcase our startups. And then one thing we realized, said, okay, the startups are the stars here. There's nothing else around it. So they are the stars, and they are the ones that are changing the world. So let's help out with that. And today we have put together what we call this ecosystem, which is a platform that helps you really identify new technologies, connect with the biggest brands. And this goes for startups and for corporations. You remember before, nobody collaborated with anybody.
Never.
Everybody was hiding their things, and I don't want to tell you what I'm doing. And nowadays, I mean, even competitors invest in the same startups, right?
That's
In the same
correct.
round,
That's
so which
correct.
is really funny. So today we help the large corporation also with this innovation activities, especially to help them kind of like equalize the culture, because the startups are brilliant, fast, and know
Well,
how to do things most of the
most of the times. And if
times.
I might share the little story, right? Among these
Exactly.
thousands of startups that you have talked to, well, one of them was a little startup called Inventa, right? So, and that's how we met. And
Exactly.
that was, geez, that was 2012. What I remember is as you asking me, Jordi, what does Inventa do? And I was telling, well, AI, blah, 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 natural language processing, blah, 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 a lot of blah, blah, blah. And you say, okay, that's good. Next day, you say, hey, Jordi, I want to introduce you. And I was someone like a potential partner. And you go and say, listen, Inventa does this. Bang. And you leave the message. And I thought, geez, can I call? That's what I have to say. All this blah, blah, blah was so horrible. You perfectly synthesized what the company was about, what was what we do, and was the message and the problem we solved. That was a big lesson, and I'm not sure I ever thank you for that, but I thank you right now.
Well, no, thank you, because actually that is extremely important for everybody. And you better than you have done several startups, and you're an entrepreneur from the bones.
Wow, here we go.
And
And
so
also story.
communicating that value prop is
Yes,
important.
but it doesn't end there. Years later, we had a great partner in Ben had a great partner in Japan. So we have NTT Communications. It was one of our
Mhm.
partners, and they were distributing our technology in Japan. It was a great story. So when I was asked, how did you go and meet these folks from Japan? And I say, the plug and play tech center. I mean, Jackie just introduced these guys to me. So that's how a guy from Barcelona ends up meeting these folks in Tokyo, just meeting in this wonderful place where, startups, big companies, investors meet. I enjoyed so much being there, and of course you being kind of the anima mater of the whole ecosystem.
Thank you,
That was the
thank you.
best.
It's fun, super fun. It's like we are at the forefront of the technology, so we are seeing amazing people, brilliant people, and what they do is just extraordinary. They are changing the face of the earth. So, love entrepreneurs.
Awesome. And then open innovation, right? So how can companies use open innovation models to drive digital transformation?
Obviously, digital transformation, or I would say open innovation became the driving force of digital transformation. And so since it was invented by this professor in Berkeley, it started putting this premise that if you're using these new technologies that are more scalable, user-friendly, and flexible, you can profit from it, right? And so that was in theory the thing that happened. But I mean, for the big corp, uh, open the doors and say, okay, yes, this is what we're doing, and we're going to do more. I mean, it wasn't that easy, and it still is not easy. And so open innovation obviously involves the incorporating external partners to enrich your own ideas. Before,
Mhm.
you have your own R&D, you do your own thinking. And the problem with that is most of the times you have blinders, right? Eye blinders, because you look only what you want to look, you see what you want to see, and then forget to look a little bit else. And sometimes you need that extra inspiration. And the fact is that you cannot be an expert on everything. And so, if you really talk to potential or experts or potential people that are more knowledgeable and have a set of skills or an expertise in any sector different than the one that you have, it gives you a different point of view. So, open innovation then it gives you the opportunity there, but you have to do it systematically. I mean, there are protocols to do it,
Got
so you
it. Got
cannot
it.
just do it sporadically, because obviously you're not
Right.
going to get anything out of that, because you, at the end of the day, you have to test things, you have to break things.
Right, right, right. And that's how you help, right? Big companies basically put together these innovation programs where they meet a lot of startups and they start, kind of basically putting together this talent, this innovation with the big corporations. They have needs. That's uh,
Mhm.
that's that's impressive.
Especially with a focus on identifying problems. I mean, what is what you're trying to accomplish, right? And that's the biggest question when you're doing open innovation, because they look for solutions. It's like, no, no, no. Why don't you tell us what are you looking for? What motivated you to look for that? And
Right,
then is when you really extract the insights of what needs to be accomplished. And then, okay, this is what other people are doing around the world, not here in your backyard, around the world. People are cooking rice in different ways. And and that is the value, to open your mind to see
right.
what other people are doing, how they are addressing the problem, and how they are meeting this challenge with using new technologies, right?
Totally. So you said you described, right, how you started all that with Shahid. I think you said 2006, right? So basically, look at that. We are almost 20 years, right, since you guys started, which is
Almost, yeah.
impressive.
Now, the Open Innovation Protocol started a little bit later, like around 2012, that really started to take off.
Hmm.
And then we also, because we had so many corporations, we started to verticalize the practice, because we discovered that companies in a particular industry, let's say retail or financial services, had similar aspirations and challenges. And so a solution could address, if they can solve the problem of a bank, maybe other banks have the same problem, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so
That's
that's how everything. So doing that, fortunately, it's been kind of like 6 years that I'm more towards the open innovation rather than the operation of this place.
got it. Got it. But anyways, right, when it comes to startup ecosystem, right, in the last, let's say, 20 years, in the last 20 years, what challenges do you think startups face today compared to, let's say, 2005 or 2006?
Well, there's a big difference between what was happening before and what it is happening today. And so Silicon Valley has always been the magnet for international companies and smart people that they want to bring. I mean, you're one of them that want to bring, because it's just simply a bigger market. And so if you're smart, you want to look for bigger markets than the one that you're servicing currently. So they used to flock here to Silicon Valley. Today, more flocking. And so back in the days, there was competition, but they were mostly software, highly scalable software, Web 2.0, the internet companies, right? And
Right.
so there was a lot of capital available, mostly for early stage. And the motto is just to move fast and break things.
Right.
And then you would get money, right? Almost. It's not that easy, but you know it is not
Yeah.
that easy.
No.
But nowadays is different. So the industry, the technology now has invaded basically every sector. And so, because every sector is adopting technology and is moving or has digital initiatives, and everything is digital because that's the way we communicate nowadays. And so, competition is crazy. And so, the investors are a little bit pickier, and they are looking, especially nowadays where the technology is changing so fast, like incredibly fast with these new things in artificial intelligence, that they are the investors tend to go for later stage investments, so not to get them too early, later stage investments, so that at least they have a little bit less risk when they are doing investments. So there's a lot of competition for talent. Before it was complicated. Today is even worse. Getting the right talent and committed to your company is really complicated. And so obviously a lot of increased regulation. So
Right.
regulation right now, it's very serious. And so it's definitely a little bit more complicated for
Got
entrepreneurs to develop something that creates value, right? That
got it.
delivers value to the
Impressive.
users.
So more competition, more regulation, technology changes more rapidly. Yeah,
Super
what could
fast.
possibly go wrong, right? It's like, hey, let's do
The
this.
perfect storm.
Exactly. I think you mentioned AI, right? And we are
Oh, yes.
now talking a few basically hours after the new toy, right, from DeepSeek was announced, and now Nvidia is trembling, and everything seems to change again, right, under the clouds of AI. So how do you see AI influencing corporate innovation strategies? And if you can let us know what some examples of some of the companies doing this.
You know, there is obviously yesterday it was kind of like a craziness. There is some mixed opinions. There are people that say, oh, let's stop AI because Nvidia just fell $600 billion, and they recovered 3% today, but
Right. Okay.
and they will recover, right? I mean, that's the nature of Silicon Valley. People freak out. Obviously the people are not used to seeing these things. They freak out, and it's not little. It's just twice the market cap of Coca-Cola. So hello, so it's a
All
big
right.
number, right?
It is.
But I think the part that it is really interesting was that this new company, DeepSeek, um, it's offering now their solutions as an open source, and so they managed to do, or at least they claim to do the same as ChatGPT, but less expensive, focusing on software optimization and efficient use of hardware. And so at the end of the day is who is going to get the cheapest answer, the
Right.
answer that you're looking for, the cheapest
Correct.
answer, because
Correct.
before it was only these big guys that were able to use artificial intelligence to create models and do the computation and all of that. It's like it's only the Meta and Microsoft and all the
Correct.
Google, etc. But now with this, it becomes more available. So before it was the bottom stack of these technologies was reserved to the very, very rich. Now, this is going to be available even for smaller companies that don't have as much money. So the normal people, and to create more things.
That's right.
That puts a big impact. And so that means that things are going to go faster, way faster, because before they had the friction of the cost, the electricity and the computing power today is like, if the promise is now you're eliminating that barrier, off you go.
That's right. That's right. So we move
So
from the need of hundreds of millions of dollars to
mhm,
millions of dollars. So that is
exactly, which is what you would spend
uh,
in other things,
two
right?
orders of magnitude below. So that's gonna, I believe that's gonna make, AI and the applications explode, right? And
Hmm.
probably that's exactly what you say, right? It's the triangle where you have cheap, smart, and fast. And depending on your
Hmm.
application, you're gonna need, to position where is your use case in this triangle, right?
Exactly. I think at this time, and we are seeing it because we're working with more than 500 corporations around the world. And so they are really looking to and seeking for partnerships with startups. And
Hmm.
obviously, they are looking for easy use cases because it's not that easy to digest artificial intelligence, right?
Right.
Not everybody can do models. So show me something on the top of the stack, an
Right.
application that can help me solve a problem, right? Not the foundation models. But obviously looking for these partnerships, talent, skills, data sets to expedite the adoption of technology. So there are a few examples that are really, I mean, very interesting. I mean, today corporations are looking to expedite labor-intensive processes that require some supervision, but not like crazy supervision, that could be done with in faster time with less resources, etc. And so there's a number of things. I mean, we have a startup that it is really interesting. I love them because of the simplicity. I mean, it's a very complex startup, a very complex algorithm, and has received a ton of funding of Sequoia Capital, for example. So that
For
tells you
example,
something.
yep.
That tells you something. And so the CEO, I mean, has created a computer vision solution with artificial intelligence that can help you create handbooks of machinery. For example, you grab your phone, and with your phone, anybody can say, well, now you open the gate here, you put that leverage, and then you tap the machine, and automatically creates a handbook of how to operate or repair or whatever
Wow. Yeah.
what the machinery. Who wouldn't like to have that?
Absolutely.
It's like,
Yeah.
imagine the time that you spend to train the people, the rotation of the people, and now anybody can have it in a snippet of a quick handbook,
Wow.
uh, that anybody that just was hired can understand how to repair this pump or how to uh, 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 do
Yeah, yeah. Just
any
as you were
particular
there,
activity.
right? As you are an
Exactly. Like if you
apprentice,
said,
a
"Oh,
master
I just need,"
yes,
and you
that's how we
just
learned, right?
tap
100 years
you.
ago, and now we can
Exactly. You
put
don't
that
need
to
special
scale.
equipment. You don't need to write anything. You just use your phone and you just tap at the thing. You do it once and off you go. And so that
Wow.
saves a ton of money. Other things, I mean, there's now the capability of have shorter consumer product cycles. For example, when
Right.
you launch a product, now you can identify who's your target audience, what geography, what flavor you want to put out there, with that 80% chances of really hitting the mark. And,
Right.
and the examples like that, I mean, Palette AI and a number of them that they are doing that. Other companies are focusing, for example, in understanding and analyzing um, pathology images. So
Hmm.
imagine for cancer diagnosis
Yes.
and treatment. And so now you have the possibility of narrow down, and under the supervision of a doctor, the doctor can say, oh yes, I have not caught that thing, because they are comparing to multiple data sets. And so then they are assisting now these professionals in making more accurate
Yeah.
diagnosis and faster treatment decisions. So imagine, I mean,
Yes.
if you can
Plus,
do that.
all these startups, besides coming up with new use cases, they also use AI to generate code, which was not a thing just 2 years ago, and now has the possibilities to have an idea from idea to product. Now has
Yeah.
boom accelerator, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you don't need to be a data scientist, by the way. So now you reduce the number of data scientists that you require in your company to do
Exactly.
this job.
And the
And
number of developers, right? You can do
mhm,
more with less. So that's impressive.
it's crazy. Yes, super cool,
Wow.
super cool. So that's why it's super important. Some corporations say, "Oh, I think we should wait until these things happen." No, no, no. You should accelerate whatever
Right.
you are doing. You have to really put a rocket in your
Right.
company, and a lot of high octane fuel to push it, because you have to hit the mark. If you don't do it, somebody else is going to do it and gonna
Exactly.
eat your lunch.
And by the way, just that last sentence, I love it. And probably you've been asked these questions a million times, right? But you know the ecosystem. So, what advice would you give to entrepreneurs on building meaningful partnerships and scaling their ventures?
And it. I guess the most important thing for an entrepreneur is to really connect with their clients.
Hmm.
Study who are you servicing and what's their problem, and to build that synergistic collaboration with the corporation that you want to connect or become a partner with. And so it has to be that cultural fit. Both of you need to look eye to eye onto the solution and have the same goal, and of course nurture that relationship to become really partners, and providing also um, kind of like synergistic or creative financial models that can help a corporation test your solution
Mhm.
and test it quickly, so that they can mitigate the risk instead of just going boom, buy it. So let them test your thing so that you can really validate the creation of value, quantifying the potential impact, so that there is a no-brainer to do that. So bring examples, be transparent, especially. I know that
Of course, right.
many times you have to pre-sell things
Right.
that are in development, and so, but also just make sure that you're transparent about your capabilities, right? And really personalize that pitch. Study your clients. How are they measuring
Right. Right.
success, etc. So, and be patient. Be patient. I mean, they move slow. They're slower than startups for sure. And so, patience is super critical, right?
Wow. And that advice is not that different from you would say 5, 10,
Any
or 20
other
years ago. That was
customer, any other.
the story is limited is the same. Is what is the problem that you solve, how you solve it, and who's going to pay for it, right? And that's what you need
Ex-
to pay attention, right? And then
exactly. And make
what
sure
about
that it is continuous, right?
right? Exactly, exactly. So and now about inventors, right? Sorry, investors.
Uh-huh.
So with your experience in venture funding, what makes a startup stand out to investors today?
Um, I think for me, and this is for me and for our people, I mean, we invest in approximately 200, a little above 200 investments per year. So we have
Wow,
to
it's
have
almost
five times that.
one per day.
Yes.
Wow,
And so that we have to have then a pipeline four times as big. So
of course.
imagine you have to look at all of those numbers and all of those founders. So you better be able to make complicated things look simple and can communicate the value proposition in less than 5 minutes. And so if you have that ability to communicate that value proposition, have a deep understanding of the problem and a clear go-to-market strategy, that is important for us. Now, we specialize on early stage. And so we really are betting on the founders. And this is a little bit different than, for example, later stage investment, because then you really have to go deeper into financial modeling and all the traction, the numbers, all of that stuff. In this case, we also look for traction,
Mhm.
obviously, no nonsense. So just
Yes.
show data-driven milestones that show engagement and growth and profitability potential. I mean,
Yes.
what are the odds that you're going to reach that mark, right? And know your numbers very well. And so, and of course, an incredible team. So if you have a really strong team with complementary skills
Hmm.
and above all, flexibility. I mean,
Right.
that flexibility, I call it coachability too, because there are people
Uh-huh.
that
They
yeah,
might not
they don't
listen, right?
listen, and then they just keep on going. It's like, and so I think for us that is really important, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely. And what about the future? If you look at, okay, what can happen, right, in the future with AI, the kind of possibilities that are open right now is it's kind of unpredictable, right? I mean, I could say,
Yeah.
what are your predictions? But I know it's unpredictable. So who knows what is going to happen? So exciting, right? We know just AI exploding everything. What's going to happen? And that's, and the year is just starting. We will, who knows when we are going to be by the end of 2025, right?
Obviously, AI is not going away.
Right.
It's going to evolve, yes, but it's going to evolve faster. And I tell you, I think I mentioned this to you before. We do our expos, our demo days. These are 3-day conferences where we showcase more than 200 startups in different industries, 20 industries.
Hmm.
And we do this twice a year. And I
Hmm.
can tell you that what we have seen in June of last year compared to what we saw in November, it was not progressive. It was a leap.
Oh,
So, which is crazy.
it's crazy.
What entrepreneurs can do today,
Wow.
and obviously because they are using these new tools that help you code, create things, and get answers faster. Now you can do things that were unimaginable before. And,
Right.
and and technology is helping for that. And so when they come and pitch and tell you that now you can do this, and that, and I said, "Are you kidding me?" And I've been sitting next to manufacturing partners. I mean, here next to me, and they just look at me as like, this is what we've been trying to do for the past 10 years.
And now, bam,
And
it's
and
gone.
boom, I said, can we talk to that fellow? And I said, yes, sure, no problem, right?
Wow.
So what is going to happen? I think like everything that goes like crazy, like it is right now, has obviously adjustments in the market. And so it's like in 2020, was it 23? I think 2023 or 2022 or 2023, we had 14 unicorns, for example, in the portfolio. And obviously then the market adjusted, right? And
Hmm.
so that happens to everything in life. And
Correct.
so things were going to be evolving. And now, obviously, there is a new world order. And so
Hmm.
there are things that are driving technology to solve the new world order problems.
Right.
And that has to be a lot of obviously climatic changes, sustainability, efficiency. There's still a lot of defense. The world is warming up, not only because of the climate,
Yeah,
it's because of the
unfortunately,
political
yes, in many
situations.
many areas, right?
Exactly. But also these new opportunities that you have to deliver things in different way. I mean, we are looking right now, for example, at startups that are developing solutions for space.
Wow. Right.
It's
Wow.
like, and of course, with our friend Elon Musk putting his hand into a lot of things,
Yes.
it's viable.
Yeah.
It's viable. I mean, he
Right.
has a capital to do it, right?
That's right. That's right.
and and
So
so
yeah.
faster for sure, faster.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Jackie, it would be, I would spend hours talking to you, but I want to be respectful with your time. Just one question is we have in this podcast many entrepreneurs, many folks that are considering starting their own business. So, what would be the best way for them to contact you if that's possible?
Of course, of course. You know, for the startups, obviously, we're looking usually, we invest in early stage, but we accelerate any stage.
Okay.
And so, for if you want to be considered, you can apply directly to our website. We have plugandplaytechcenter.com. Then there is a tab on innovation services, and then for startups, and there are several options depending on what you want to do.
Okay.
So just remember, you must have at least proof of concept with a large player, and we mostly focus on B2B solutions, right? Or B2B to uh, B2C, always that you have a path to revenue with enterprise, right?
Yeah.
And so if you are a rock star, of course you can find me. Same as for the corporations that want to do innovation in a very systematic and global way, just send me a quick email to Jackie at pmptc.com. So that would be a quick one.
Wow.
And
Thank you
if it
so
is
much.
not me, I will route you to the right person.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. I put all these links in the little description and my website, so they will have access straight to this link. Jackie, thank you so much for your time today. It's been so great talking to you.
On the contrary, Jordi, thank you for the opportunity and can't wait for you to come back with a new thing because I'm sure you're just taking a breath. They're just taking a pause. I'm sure I'll see you here again.
Thank you for the stuff. Thank you, Jackie. And for the rest of the audience, um, stay tuned because we're going to have very interesting people in the next episode. So stay tuned.